What it do, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I'm so excited to bring you guys a full face of new makeup. I'm using so much new makeup today. It is crazy. So pretty much the only thing that is not new is one of my eyeliners that I use today, and my powder and my mascara. Everything else is new. So we got the R.E.M Beauty foundation in the shade Deep 2G. We have the Victoria Beckham bronzer. We have two lid lusters. We have a lip posh. We have the highlighter stick. We have the blush cream stick. We have a liner. We have a lip liner. We have a whole lot of Victoria Beckham. And then of course I'm showcasing the Tower 28 concealer again for you guys. So much to show you guys in today's video. I hope you guys enjoy it. It is creating this look today, which I think has, a little bit of interesting twists and turns that I was able to create. And I will be wearing this for the rest of my day. So there will be a pinned comment telling you guys how well this wore and all of that jazz. So definitely check out down below. And yeah, I hope this was helpful for anybody who wanted to see some Victoria Beckham on a darker skin. I will, of course, like I always say, be coming back to you guys, giving you guys updates on all of these products. And I don't want to talk too much or repeat myself way too many times. Let's just get into it. Okay, so I just got done with class, got home, shoved some food in my mouth, started some laundry, and we're here to start. I have so much stuff. I have the bronzing brick, I have a lip liner, an eyewear, a eyeliner, a posh lipstick. I have two lid lusters. I have a highlighter stick, a cream blush. I have a new foundation and new concealer. I have so much to show you guys. Let's just dive on in. First thing first, I'm going to start off with a gripping primer that I know, and this is the LYS. This is currently in my project pan. So I have tested this out on pretty much all of the newer products that I have been trying on my base as foundation goes. I also have just tried this on some older faithfuls. So this will be one of the only knowns that I have in this full face, just because I have so much new makeup to test and I'm just so excited. So we're just gonna rock with it. Okay, so I showed you guys a swatch of this R.E.M Beauty foundation, which I have in the shade Deep 2G. I believe in like my last full face of new makeup. I don't remember honestly how long ago. I think it might have been just last week. That was the same day that I tried out the Youthforia foundation. I was really excited about this one because it said that it had glass like skin and light coverage. This one I believe has medium coverage, and I don't remember the exact finish. It was probably natural for me to have picked it up. If I did not already say, I have this in shade Deep 2G. This is not a perfect shade match for me, so I don't really know how we're gonna go with this one. It's quite light for my face. I think it actually might be not too bad for my décolleté, but we're just going to cover this up with the sponge and just see how it goes as a product in general. And then as I continue to test this product out, I will see if there is a way to manipulate the color for me to just see long term how this will work in my collection. And since I don't need to leave again for the rest of the day, the house, it can look a little crazy. So I definitely would say if you were shade twin to me, this is definitely not the shade. Like, I don't even think this matches my décolleté. This is just light. It's just not the color. I will say, if I remember correctly, it said something about having skin adjusting qualities, and I think it also has like some other skincare benefits to this particular product. The skin adjusting qualities, I think it's just too far to have to try to adjust to my true skin tone. It's just not working. As for the finish, I think it looks really nice. Let me zoom in so you guys can see. So as you see, the skin looks really nice. I don't think it's emphasizing any of my pores. It looks like a very natural finish. It's not, you know, the highest coverage. You can't see my gem mark over here too badly. So I would say it's about a decent medium coverage. It's not high medium. I would say it's about a normal medium. For the amount of under eye bags that I have, which isn't too bad for somebody of my age, it's not fully covering those. That's why I'm saying it's not high medium. But so far, I like the coverage. I like the consistency. And just so that you guys can see the match there, it's really not the best. Okay, Tower 28. I've used this before. I can't remember all the places that I've used this, but I've definitely used this before. You guys have seen a first impression as a short, and I believe I might have actually also used this in the previous new makeup releases just to get more thoughts. And I'm just going to use this again because it's, like I said, one of the newest concealers. I got so many concealers at the time of getting this. I am liking this concealer so far. I definitely like it. I like the color, as I said time and time again. I will say though that, like, if I really do get to the point where I want to use this product as a no makeup look type of day, I will probably go up in shade. It will work on my skin. I've showed you guys that, but I think just in general, I would feel even better if I went up in the shade. But I'm liking it so far, and this is in the shade, I want to say 14, but it says PV on the bottom, but I'm pretty sure it is the shade 14. And yeah, I think that it really works nicely. Like, even though this foundation is off, and I want to say honestly that the concealer is darker than the foundation, I think it looks good. And I will say, now that this foundation has been on my face, I feel like it's set a little bit more, right? Like, I feel like it toned a little bit to my skin tone. It's still not as dark as my face. My face is just dark in general. The last couple of days I've been doing runs outside, and I've forgotten to actually put sunscreen on before I leave because I just want to get going. But I think it's looking better than it did on the initial application. So I will say that. I do have, like I said, quite a few different cream products. I do have a cream blush and highlighter. I tend to prefer to use these types of products on a set base. So I don't think I'm going to kind of venture from that application. I just want to give these products my personal kind of best attempt at them. But lately I have been actually setting my foundation in the bronzer zones with the actual bronzer. So let's get into the bronzer brick. This has been the one product that I have been wanting from this brand for the absolute longest. This is nice and weighted. This genuinely makes me feel like I have never had a luxury product, and I've bought some very expensive bronzers. This is extremely weighted. I really like this. I like the packaging. You got that more tortoiseshell kind of cover with the gold lining. I really like it. You have to push it in. I'm sure you guys already know because you've heard so many people talking about this brand, but this is a first for me. And here we go. So I do have natural lighting in front of me, so I'm sure it's washing out the color a tinge. That's pretty true to what it looks like. So this is the more bronzy side, and this is the more kind of contoury side. And I do have this in the, no, this is not the deepest shade. This is 04. I looked online, and based on what I was seeing online, I felt like this was the shade I should pick up. I'm a tinge bit concerned now, but then again, my foundation is really light, so we'll see. I'm gonna just use a brush into the darkest and warmest side. Ooh. Oh, she's showing up. Okay. Because I felt very confident in choosing this particular shade after looking at the models that they had. The model that they had for 5 just was a lot darker than me. So it just didn't make sense for me to pick up that shade. But ooh, this is looking nice. And if you see me looking over, as always, my mirror is in this little corner. So it just, I like to look over there. But I guess I could use the mirror in my little expensive case. I'm actually really liking this. It looks very skin-like. It has a subtle, let me see if I can get my face to focus. It has a subtle depth. It's not a huge amount of depth. And what I find in these more luxury brands is that they're all about the subtle. They don't need huge, you know, obvious bronzers. But if you do want a huge bronzer and you are a skin twin to me, I would say go for 05. I like this. Like I said, it's very, very subtle for somebody like me. If you know me, you follow my channel, you know I love a lot of bronze. I don't think I would say this is my favorite undertone and depth level, but I do like this. I think this will be a really cute product. Okay, battery ran out of, you know, juice, but I did swatch the two shades. Let me see if I can get this to focus. So this is the lighter shade, and right here is the deeper shade. Let me see if I can build them up for you guys so that you can really see. I think it's the deeper shade that really needs to be built up. It's pretty much my skin tone, like my true skin tone, with a little bit of warmth. But I think there's something to it that once it gets on the face, it gives a little something. I don't know. Maybe it's the fact, like I said, that foundation was just weird, but I feel like that foundation is getting closer and closer to actually matching me, right? That foundation looks like it actually matches me now. This is a bit spooky. So maybe this is really the right shade, but if you want something that's going to show more obvious between your skin tone for the warmer side and, you know, obviously your bronzer, I would definitely say if your foundation match to me, definitely just go ahead and go to 05. But I'm liking this so far. I'm liking this because I haven't said that a million and one times. I'm just going to go in with my normal powder, which is this baby right here. This is the Pore Perfect powder. I picked this up from YesStyle. Apparently, I heard recently that this is actually available on Amazon, which I'm sure is even more convenient, honestly, than YesStyle, if you're not a YesStyle, you know, avid purchaser. But there is that. So I'm just gonna set everything else like I normally do. Your girl is combination oily at the end of the day, and that's setting my concealer. I'm gonna take a fluffy brush and just do a light dusting, not only over the bronzer but also over any unset foundation zones. And there we go. There we go. I am going to go ahead and spray. You guys know me. I spray a stupid amount of times. This is my Monica Dar. This is one of my favorite sprays for this type of thing. It just really drenches my face perfectly, and I feel like all of the products really start to seep into the skin beautifully. So let's go ahead and continue on with the cheeks. We already got that bronzer on. Let's look at the cheek product that I picked up. So I bought a cream blush cheek stick. Wait. I brought a cream blush stick, which they call a Cheeky Posh, and this once again doesn't feel nearly as heavy as the bronzer, but it's a nice little weight to it. It does have a subtle kind of display of that tortoiseshell situation, and it's a beautiful orangey shade. I really wanted to make sure that the product that I picked up worked on my skin tone. I hate when I buy something that I like the shade, but it just doesn't work. So I'm just going to put this on my sponge and see if it works. Okay, that's a very subtle application. And for this type of product, there's just no way that it can be subtle. I'm gonna warm it up on the back of my hand, And I'm going to pick it up with my preferred cream blush brush. And there you go. So, whew, on camera, that looks crazy. So what I will say is that this is definitely, in my opinion, a cream blush brush 110%. I would definitely just use a brush, at least for somebody of my skin tone. I just don't think that a sponge is going to really get you what you want, especially if you want obvious pigment like me. I love me some pigment, and I think on that right side I might have had my Project Pan blush kind of in the mix. I think that is kind of in the mix, and that's why this side is a little bit more pigmented than the other, but we're gonna make it work. I'm just gonna add a little bit more pigment on this side to hopefully even it out. And I can also always just use my powder brush to even things out as well. I like this. I like how it looks. There's a slight sheen to the skin, so it's not like a dry matte, which for cream I don't mind. What I do mind though for cream is if it does not set down. So that's going to be the true test on that. And while we're kind of halfway close to my camera, I also picked up a highlighting stick, and I guess they call this a Reflect. That's the name that they have on the box. This one is in a gold packaging. It has the VB on the top. This is in the shade Amber, and it's on a slight angle. Look at that shade. That looks really pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna try this once again on the sponge. Cream highlighters I actually prefer to use a sponge for, so I'm hopeful that this will work. I think I'm getting a subtle application. I like using cream highlighters with the sponge because I feel like it helps for the product to really melt in to the face. Whereas if I do it with my hands, because I don't have my glasses on or any form of contacts, I just feel like I don't blend it perfectly. Yeah, this is like a subtle kind of lit from within type product. Let's try it. We're going to try it for just sake of discussion with the finger. Yeah, this is just a lit from within kind of glossy type product. It's not going to be overly, you know, metallic or anything like that, which typically I find is how cream highlighters are. So if you are somebody like me that you like something, that's just a closer up zoom so you guys can see, it's a very subtle ambery type color. So if you're somebody like me that likes, you know, a lit from within sometimes and likes to use your sponge, you can definitely do that with the Victoria Beckham. It looks really nice. It looks very similar to the Merit, if not a little bit off. So I'll definitely be interested to compare it to the Merit. It's a different color, but I think it would be more similar to the first shade in the Merit that I picked up, not my favorite shade, which is Citrine. I love that shade. Okay. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. And overall, I will say my face looks beautiful. I'm going to continue to give the cream products a little bit more time to dry down, and then we'll try to finick with them to see if they dry down, because that will be the true tell for me on whether these are products that are perfect for me or not. Let's go with the lip products, because like I said, I got a lip liner and a lip product. So for the lip liner, they call them lip definers, and I got mine in the shade 05. Is that the shade? Yeah, 05 is the shade. I think it has like levels of nudes, and I think you'll barely be able to see. Maybe I should put some more. Okay, there we go. So that is the 05 shade in the Victoria Beckham. If you know me, you know I'm into brown lip product. Okay, so far it doesn't feel like a very creamy formula. It feels like one of those formulas that pretty much stays put. I do like the little detail that there's a little brown kind of bottom. So if you put your lip liners down or even to the side, you can know what color this is. I do like that. It felt a little hard for me. So I definitely want to see if the farther down in the pencil I go, if it gets a little bit more creamy. I don't need it to be overly creamy, but it just felt very, very hard. Then we have the lip product, which they call a Posh lipstick. I have this in the shade Fringe. And if I remember correctly, this is a nudie tone. I don't think she has like orangey tones. And this is another one where it definitely feels nicely weighted. It has that kind of vaguely tortoiseshell kind of detail, and of course the VB at the top. And this is a brown. It's a brown. So let's see how this applies. Okay. So this is a very, very creamy lipstick. I will say the actual packaging, like because this section is so short, I find my hand going to the like bullet section. And since that's so skinny, it becomes a little clunky, but I like the color. I like the application. It's a very nice kind of creamy formula. The undertone isn't the best on this, but this is a really good undertone for brown for me. I'm liking this. So far, I'm not really having too many duds. I don't think I have any, to be honest. Let's go ahead and try the cheek products now. Okay, so the cream highlighter has not dried down at all, but the cream blush definitely has a powdery dry down feel to it. So if you're somebody who has hair that gets stuck into a lot of things, I think that cream highlighter would be a no. But I also did apply the cream highlighter later, and I also applied it with the sponge. So I will give it a little bit more benefit of the doubt, and maybe towards the end of this overall tutorial it will be done. But so far I'm actually very much enjoying everything that I've applied. What I'm going to do is hop off camera. I'm just going to do my brows really quickly, and then I will come in, zoom in a little bit closer, and we will get to the eye products because I have 4 more eye products to showcase. And of course, once again, they're pretty much all Victoria Beckham. Okay, so we are nice and zoomed in. And like I said, I have one eyewear product, which is basically their cream eyeshadow stick. And of course I wanted to pick one up. I've been really enjoying cream eyeliner sticks or eyeshadow sticks for a while. This doesn't feel nearly as weighted. This definitely feels a lot lighter. So that is definitely something that like across the board, I don't feel they have everything is heavy, but at the same time, this does have a nice little luxurious feel to it. I like the little line indicating the shade in the middle. It's really, really nice. And in case you are interested in the shade that I have, I think it's called Sunflower because I'm pretty sure, yep, I bought a yellow because I wanted to have some fun. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just put the yellow all over my eye. And I'm just going to be really liberal with the application because I have a feeling it doesn't have a lot of pigment once you start to blend it out. And I'm just not going to blend it out too far. Yeah, it's starting to give off more of a green type color. That's interesting. It looks a little bit more greeny. I don't know if it's mixing with like maybe my whatever I have on there. Let me do the other side. I don't know why I didn't do the other side at the same time. Yeah, no, I think this color just has like a green undertone to it. Just a slight green undertone. Okay, and it's looking nice. I'm going to stick with this. I'm not going to do too much. Let's see what other colors I have because I have 2 other colors in their lid lusters. So these are basically like their shadow pots. So they're pots of shadow that are glittery, and they're supposed to just add a little beauty to the look. Love the tortoise shell here. This does feel nice and weighted, and this is in the shade Honey. And then I also have the shade Tea Rose. I did a lot of investigation before I did this order, and these were two shades that I was told you would not feel disappointed with. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to swatch them both for you. So first I have the shade Tea Rose. And this looks like a very much a neutral tone. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, like bronzy, iridescent type tone. I think that could be a fun thing to play with. I am just going to make sure to seal them just in case they're one of those things that could dry out. And then, like I said, the other shade that I picked up was Honey. And I think this one has like a slight like yellow base or something. I would assume based on the name Honey. Let's see. Yeah, that one has a little bit more gold to it. So right here is Honey, and as you can see, it's a lot more gold and reflective, and this one is a lot more like straight up on my skin tone. So I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun with both of those shades, but I think because I have this yellow on my eye, we're gonna go ahead and play with the shade Honey, and I'm just going to go in. I'm just gonna go in, and we're just going to apply this like I would apply any single shadow. And we're gonna treat that eyeshadow cream that I put on more or less like not even just a base, but like a matte crease color that I would automatically put on. So we're just gonna get this all over the lid. It's a good thing I got no nails on today, because I don't know if these would really work with not picking them up with your finger. I brought this one really far over, so let me just match what I did on that eye. And I will say these look pretty. These definitely look pretty. I don't know if they were worth the amount, but we're gonna make this eye look something that I'm going to enjoy by pulling, oops, I forgot to put the little thing on there. Generally these little pressy things are put there for a reason, so I'm just gonna keep those with those products, and I'm gonna pull my Give eyeshadow. You guys know I love this eyeshadow, and I'm going to just clean off a brush. Let's use this one. And I'm just going to go into the one that I'm actually currently project panning and just add some depth. And this will also test to see if those cream eyeshadows are good bases for me to use as bases, but also if I can use them as just eyeshadows. So let's see how this goes. Okay, so what I'm going to say is that this eye look looks cute. I don't know if it's like a must-have eye look in general. Of course, using all the products together and using them separately and kind of just putting them in my typical routine are going to be two different things, but I like to showcase everything that I picked up at the same time. The last thing I picked up from Victoria Beckham is her eyeliner, and I got this in the shade Sequence Green. And this is actually a newer release. So this is very, very new release. And they have one side that actually has the color. And since I haven't cleaned off my hand, I'll just include that into the swatch party. Here it is right there. And then the other side, if I remember correctly, is actually a cushion thing to blend it out, and something that I almost never do. I'm actually going to go ahead and try this on my lash line. First impression on the eyeliner. First things first, you have to make sure you're putting everything on the right side or it won't really secure correctly. So there is that. The more clunky end goes on the sponge side, just so that you guys know. But that actually applied really easily on my lid. You can actually see the shimmer and the green. I do wish that the green was just a tinge bit more pigmented, but understandably in this luxury kind of element, you don't want it to be so abundantly green. I'm just gonna finish up my eye look, finish up my face, do some final touches, and then I think I'm gonna go through all of the products because there have been quite a few things that I feel like I've flip-flopped on, and I've had this makeup on my face for a little bit. So I want to kind of give you guys my current thoughts on all of these products. As always, I always test all of these products back and get back to you to let you know what I love, what I hate, da da da. So definitely go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. Let me stop talking. Let me finish up this look. Alrighty guys, so this is the finished look. As you can see, like I said, the base looks really, really nice. Of course, it's a medium coverage, not the highest medium. Like I said, you can still see some imperfections through, but it did seal off quite a few. And let me zoom out and we can talk more about everything. Okie dokie. So testing out everything, I think overall, I made some solid choices when it comes to Victoria Beckham and the other two brands, R.E.M Beauty and Tower 28. So let's dive through each product. As for R.E.M, so far, I think weirdly enough, this foundation actually ended up working. In my opinion, there was definitely some auto correcting that happened on my face in real time. So that's very interesting. I kind of wish I had swatched it on. You know what? That's what we're going to do. I'm going to swatch it now, just a little pea size, and we're going to see if it changes. And then at the end of my roundup, I'm going to talk to you guys about it again, and we're going to see if it changes. So right now, this is what it looks like. It does not look like it should be changing and working on my skin tone. But as you can see, I think, yeah, I think the undertone may be a little off because it looks a little gray. But I think in the grand scheme of things, it corrected a huge amount. And maybe honestly, the grayness is just my lack of setting spray because I usually do about 3 or 4 layers and I only did about 2. So anyways, R.E.M Beauty, hold it till the end of this whole discussion. The Tower 28, I really am enjoying this concealer. It feels nicely hydrating under my under eyes. It stretches a good amount. So if you're somebody that needs a product to really stretch, this really does work. I find that it does blend into your natural skin or into your foundation. It can kind of be a chameleon in the fact that I think this will work with very light coverage foundation or base products as well as, you know, medium to full. It's just one of those chameleon type products that is good to have in your collection. That said, if I want to use this on, like I said, a no makeup look, I could see me going for a second shade, which I've seen quite a few people actually have 2 shades that they wear for different purposes. So I could see me doing that. Right now with the amount of concealers I have, I just don't need it, but I am thoroughly enjoying this concealer and I haven't found that there's a bad time that I've ever had. That said, I do not have very complex under eyes. As long as the powder and the concealer agree and neither make my under eyes very heavy, you're not going to see any cakiness. You're not going to see any really massive wear down in my under eyes. It's just not something that happens to me. So if those types of things do happen to you, maybe find somebody else who has reviewed this that has similar necessities to you. Then let's go ahead with the 2 cream cheek products. As for the cream blush, I actually really enjoy this. I think this was really nice. I don't mind using a brush to apply my cream products. I typically do that, especially when my cream products are in pans, and pan products are my favorite for cream blushes. So I could definitely see me potentially in the future picking up a couple more shades that I think will work for me because I really did enjoy this appeal and I'm really enjoying so far the color, the coverage, all of it. The cream highlighter. I like it. Like I said, I feel like this is slightly more reminiscing to the Merit, although memory serves it, the Merit dries down, and this is still slightly tacky. It's definitely less tacky than it was the last time I checked it. So I think this product just takes a little bit longer to dry down, which isn't a bad thing. I just think because I have the Merit, and Merit is so much more affordable than Victoria Beckham, I'll probably never get another shade of that particular product. But you know, it's just always good to have that in the back of my repertoire to know. And like I said, these products are nicely weighted. These aren't the most weighted products. And if I had to choose, the cream cheek blush color is a lot more weighted than the highlighter, just because of the compact. I think the packaging is just heavier and weighted more so on that blush. But just more information for you guys. Let's dive into the lips really quickly. I like these products. The lip liner is a little too hard in my opinion. I wish that I was able to kind of blend it in slightly, but because it was so close to the lip product, it really didn't matter. And the lip product to me was just beautifully creamy. I really like the formula. The packaging honestly is not my favorite or preferred method. I wish that this was a little bit bigger. I understand the appeal of the luxury kind of aesthetic with having a slimmer bullet, but just to me, with I guess my bigger hands, it's a little clunky in my hands. But regardless, once again, nicely weighted. I think all of these more tortoise shells have a nice little amount of weight to them that you wouldn't expect if you didn't know that these things were luxury. As for the bronzer, I kind of forgot about this. This is, in my opinion, the most luxurious feeling product in this whole bunch that I picked up. This has the most weight to it. I'm sure because not only is the compact weighted, but maybe even the refill. I did forget to mention this product is refillable. So in the event that this becomes your favorite product, or like me, you kind of want two different colors, you can buy a refill and just use this compact to use them interchangeably. I do really like the slight bronze that this product was able to give me. As though always, if you want something even deeper, I only got 04. Feel free to get 05 to get a nice deep bronze. I could honestly see me getting 05 now that I see how easy this was to apply. But not even just that, it was just how close to my skin it was. I felt like 05 was going to be so deep, but based on this, I feel as though 05 isn't going to be too deep for my skin. You know what I mean? But I am very excited for this. And I think with the ability to use this now in my summer shade, although the foundation isn't a summer shade, I could definitely see me getting even more use out of this during the winter. But once again, I don't want to underscore how weighted this feels. This feels luxurious because of how weighted it is. Then we get to the eye products. The Color Eye Cream, what is this called? The Longwear eyeshadow stick. I actually do like this, and I'm happy that I did one eye and I blended it out, then I did the other eye. By the time I got to kind of pressing and manipulating the eyeshadow around each eye, I felt like there was a tug. It got to the point where sis was not moving anymore, because this really is a long wearing kind of drier formula after you've massaged it or kind of applied it to the eye. So I would actually recommend doing what I did and do one eye at a time, blending it out, and then going with your subsequent shadows or whatever else you want on your eyes. So I do like this so far. I definitely want to see if this wears up and lasts on my eyes. I do have oily eyelids, so sometimes I find these crayons don't last by themselves against my oils of my eye, and I do actually need to put a primer on first, then put this on, and then put whatever else on if I want it to last for a certain amount of time. Or sometimes I'm just comfortable with the product breaking down and it's just, you know, a part of my makeup routine. So we'll see with the longevity of that, but I do like the fact that I feel that tug, meaning that it really does set down. The eyeliner, I did only use it in my lid, which is unusual for me in application. So I definitely need to try this in my waterline to see how well it does. But I do like it for applying it on the lid. It's very creamy. And so because of the cream factor in this, I am a slight worried that this won't last in my personal waterline. I have very inhospitable waterline situation where a lot of these more creamy formulas, they just don't work in my waterline long term. So I'll definitely be interested to see, with more testing, how that goes. And then we get to these babies. So these are their lid lusters. And like I said, I did a lot of research between various YouTubers, seeing swatches, hearing opinions, going to those YouTubers that I very much trusted to see what are the shades that will give me the best interpretation of this formula. And I think a lot of times, you have to take into consideration, once again, that this is a luxury brand, and that in a lot of luxury brands, there's a certain interpretation of what you want on your lids. And I think for a lot of people who may be looking for a more luxury interpretation of these single pots, this is it. It really is. It has a beautiful kind of the one that I have on my eyes right now is Honey, and this is like a yellow, but a very kind of wearable yellow. And I hate to say that, it's a little bit more golden than yellow, but it works. I will say that. But is this something that I feel like was worth it to open up the top, take off the little stupid pressy thing? I don't think so. I genuinely don't think so. I'm not saying that I'm not happy that I picked these up, but I think there really is something to the fact that it has to be worth remembering to pull these out separately and actually putting these on my lids. And some things like this, to me, it just isn't worth it in comparison to, let me get it. This happened to be a MAC single shadow from like years ago. This is it was a holiday release. And let me just show you, to me, what makes sense. So, okay, I'm gonna put it there so I don't mess with my foundation comparison. So this is the MAC single shadow. It has multiple glitters in there. There's a solid colored base. It is just sparkle galore. And then let me take Honey, and I'm gonna swatch it right under. And Honey, to me, it's just more of like a basic shimmery type color. To me, it's like comparing Cleona stained glass to like a ColourPop multichrome. There's honestly no comparison. And I think, once again, it's just based on who this is for. I think this truly is for the woman that wants that luxurious, slight glitter effect, but is still very much in the luxury realm. Whereas me, I love indie brands. I love color. I love neutrals as well, but I love texture. I love variety. And so those lid lusters so far, I don't know if they were worth the money. I don't know. So there is that. And then, like I said, I wanted to talk about this after it had dried down, and I feel like there is a difference. Is it me or am I right? Let's see. Okay, so this is the new swatch and this is the dry down swatch. There is a difference. It's a slight difference. So maybe it was me. Maybe it took a little while for me to adjust, and maybe honestly my powders adjusted. Who knows? But I do think that it does actually work with my décolleté, this shade. So I do kind of go back on my initial thoughts on this baby. Like I said, this is the R.E.M Beauty foundation in the shade Deep 2G. I actually do think it actually ultimately works for me in the grand scheme of things. In person, it really does look like what my neck looks like. So yeah, there's that. I mean, I feel like there was no true dud. Everything worked great, but it definitely depends on who you are, your application methods, and what seems reasonable for you. Because for me, the highlighter, it just, now that I've tried it, I'm happy I tried it. I don't need any more, you know? So, yeah, I'm going to stop rambling. Like I said before, definitely go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you like my content, you like my voice. A lot of people have been saying they like my voice lately, or, you know, you're just excited to see my review of the Victoria Beckham products, because it will be coming. I have a whole basket worth of products that I need to finalize my thoughts, and that will be the main goal once I come back from this vacation this weekend. Is just finalizing my thoughts about a whole bunch of things. That way I can give you guys that information and you can do with it what you will, you know? So yeah, I'm happy I was able to get this fit in. I will put in the pinned comment down below how this makeup wore, because I definitely think that is the grand important thing. Like, does this foundation break up? Because let me tell you, this Euphoria foundation, it broke up. That's the worst I've seen a foundation break up on me and my smile lines in years. So I definitely want to go ahead and give you guys updates on all of those things. So definitely check out my pinned comment down below for all of the updates on any product that I find it's really helpful for you guys. And I will see you guys in my next video on Monday. I will be coming back on Sunday during the day, so I should be able to get my video up on Monday, but in the event that it's a little late, just give me some grace. I just got back from a vacation. Alrighty guys, I'll see you guys next time, Monday. Bye.